Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is how Stella got her financial stability back. My name is Stella, and today we are going to go over our last week, our previous budget, and going over my next budget for the end of October, beginning of November. So it's been a little rough. I've really made some I don't know, kind of like discoveries about myself. I really figured some things out. And one of those things is that I absolutely cannot leave any type of amount of money in my bank account. I can't. I see the money there and I think, oh, I have money, I can spend it. So my goal was to do like half rent and keep that $460 in the bank and then do another half rent, and I can't do it. I sadly spent some of that money, quite a bit of it, like it's actually closer to $400 I spent of that money. And I still have pictures that need to come out because we did school pictures and I gave them a check and they didn't take that out yet. Obviously they take their time with that, but I'm disappointed in myself, but I'm not going to be super hard on myself either. So one of the things that I've come to realize is that, one, I can't keep money in my bank account, and two, I have to start budgeting for food. Some of you have been quite upset with my YouTube channel saying, oh my gosh, you get food stamps, you shouldn't be allowed to have food stamps, you make too much money. Right now I do, and I'm supposed to be getting a call from my county to talk about my food stamps because I need to let them know that I don't need it anymore. Something, I don't know how everybody is, but if you are in a financial situation where you are very unstable and you're really hurting for money, you're going to hold on to those food stamps until you're financially stable. I don't care who you are. That's just something that any person in their right mind would do. So back many moons ago, this is my beginning budget in September. In August, I didn't have any budget, and at the beginning of the month, I wasn't even sure how I was going to pay rent. I didn't even pay rent in August. I had to make up that rent in September because I didn't have enough money. And I also made some poor decisions because I thought my son's birthday and back to school supplies and taking care of school stuff was more important. So that was then. This is now. Obviously, I'm making better decisions, but I didn't apply for food stamps until June of this year. So I've only had it since June. And when I applied, I was only making $1,800 a month on my first income here. So that 900 right there, that's how much I was making every 2 weeks. And now I do not make that every 2 weeks. I am now down to like $1,500 a month total. So like $750 every 2 weeks ish if you were to split it in half. I was barely making it by because I wasn't receiving child support. I stopped receiving my oldest son's child support in January, but my youngest son's father was still paying child support, and then he stopped at the end of May, and it kind of put me behind on some things. And then he paid at the end of June, he paid for July, and then he stopped paying in August, and he hasn't paid since. So my income has been really all over the place. So I was making $1,800 a month just on my one income, and I was receiving $600 a month in child support before he stopped paying. And I was getting $400 and some dollars. It was like $470 some dollars in food stamps. I don't know your circumstances. You don't know mine, except what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that I was receiving that amount in food stamps along with medical assistance for me and my 2 children. I don't know why anybody would not be able to get food stamps. I'm not a part of your county. I'm not a part of your state. I'm not a part of whatever issues you have around food stamps. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that food stamps is there to help. It's not like the best thing ever, but it helps. And I needed it when I needed it. At the end of August, I got my job. I got this second income right here, and I was only supposed to be making $600 a week, or $600 every 2 weeks. Supposed to. That was what was agreed upon when I started the job. But as I started working, I started discussing, the workload and how it was a little bit more than what they anticipated. And also, I was able to talk to my boss and say, hey, I worked at a previous place that allowed flex hours where you could work as much as you wanted and still not receive benefits. And because I discussed that with her, she started upping my hours and upping them some more. So now I am up to almost, this is just budgeted, but I'm up to almost $1,700 every 2 weeks. One, because I discussed it with her and she okayed it. And two, we need the money. And if the work is there, I'm going to work to get that money. So originally, the $600 was supposed to make up for my child support. And I was still supposed to keep food stamps. And while I worked through my budget and trying to get current on my bills, which is what I literally spent the entire month of September doing, was focusing strictly on getting current with my bills. I didn't care so much about paying off debt. I just wanted to get current with my bills. And I did that with my first 2 paychecks. With these first 2 paychecks here, I got current on my bills. I wasn't expecting to, but because I had the food stamp assistance, I didn't have to worry about food, and I was able to focus strictly on my bills and get current. And I'm very thankful for that. Again, I don't know anybody else's specific circumstances on why you can or cannot get food stamps or assistance or anything like that. That's your problem, and I'm sharing mine. I'm sharing what I went through, what I'm experiencing, and what I'm working towards. I'm sorry if you can see my kid spilled juice on it. And I do have a dog. I take care of a dog. I take care of my 2 kids. I don't receive child support. That was my circumstances. And now that I am financially stable, I'm very excited and happy that I get to talk to the county, hopefully sometime this week or next week, before the end of October. They'll call me and get to tell them that I don't need food stamps anymore. I am thankful for that. Like, I'm making enough that I don't need it now. So, my next budget from October 27th to November 9th, I'm super happy about. Now, I over budgeted for a lot of my stuff. Like, I forgot to add internet. I added that at the last minute. And I was supposed to work overtime, which I still can. I have until Thursday to work overtime, and I plan to do it. So my goal is to make $2,900 or more. So, I need like almost $3,000 to make my entire goal here. But if I don't reach that goal, I'm okay with it. I'll take away, adding to the gifts. I don't need to add to gifts. That's why I budget so much, and then over here I'll put the actual amount that I'll be able to put in. I talked to my mama, and she wants her money at the end of every month, so I'm going to give that to her at the end of every month. My dad doesn't know that I'm doing this, so I'm setting aside money for him to surprise him for Christmas. I do have very big goals. I do have very large goals. I also wanted to tell you guys, pay attention to like car loans. Because I got a car loan, and my mom called me because it comes to her house because it's in her name, because I have horrible credit and couldn't get one. And she's like, hey, your car loan is supposed to be below around $6,000, and it's all the way up to over $7,000. I mean, I freaked out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? I called and found out that they didn't get all the paperwork from my insurance company. And so they tacked on an insurance amount. It was like $970 some that they tacked on. Pay attention, because you may be not even realizing that you might have to send over insurance information in case, if something like this were to happen to you. I don't know if it's ever happened to anybody else. It's never happened to me before. Obviously, my insurance company had no problem. They faxed it over, and they said it could take up to, sorry, you can hear my dog. It could take up to 30 days or more for it to come off, but at least they have the information now. Whew. So I wanted to mention that. So I talked about food stamps. I talked about the car loan issue. I wrote down a list here. I severely overspent this past week, just this week alone. Ever since, that Halloween issue, I kind of went wonky. I've been having a lot of anxiety about things, and I don't know why. But hopefully, not even hopefully, I know I will do better the next time, because I'm aware of it. I'm aware that I can't keep money in my account no more. Maybe one of you are the exact same way. Now, I don't know if I want to take it out in cash or if I just want to pay ahead of time. I had planned to pay in 2 different dates my rent, and I should have done that. I should have never left the money in my account thinking that I would be able to pay it when the time came. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. It's one of those things where I cannot leave my rent amount in my account. Now, some of these other ones are different. Like my cell phone, I can pay right away. As soon as it pops up, I'll pay it. The school tuition, I don't know what it is about the rent, but I can't leave it in my account. It's like it's too much money to leave in my account. And I think I'm going to start taking everything out in cash, including gas, in all of my spending. Because if I leave spending in my account, I'll spend it on Amazon, and I know I'll go over budget. And then I'll return something, and then I'll be like, oh, well, I do have money in there. I'll go and get something else, and then I overspend again. It's just frustrating. I'm frustrated with myself, but it's okay. It's all good. It's all a learning experience. So I overspent on Dunkin's, Amazon, McDonald's, and Home Depot. Now this went up a little bit because I got Dunkin's for me and my mom today. I wanted to get her coffee. She had a really rough weekend at work, so I got her coffee. And I got Arby's one day. So when I am overly anxious about, I don't even know what I'm anxious about, I like to eat out. I like to go somewhere and get food. Usually it's the gas station. I like to get snacks. I'm not a big meal eater. I like coffee and I like snacks. But man, does that add up. That's like a coffee and a sandwich one day, a coffee and a muffin one day. Like that stuff, it's so expensive. Amazon, that was different. I got some, they're like Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. I would like to start setting aside some money food in case either of emergencies or just to have extra. I'm going to start setting aside some money for that. And then Home Depot, I got some winter gloves that were cheaper, surprisingly. And then I got some plastic for my windows. Heavy duty painter's plastic, to be more specific. And that'll be for the outside of my windows. So I'm going to staple gun those up this week sometime. And that'll help cut back on the winter bill. And I do not pay heat. That's not in my rent. It's not in any of my bills because my landlord pays my heat. Thank you, Jesus. He pays my heat, my water, my sewer, my garbage. takes care of all of that. But I only live in a 1-bedroom tiny place, so I appreciate that. And I wanted to help him out this year and cover my windows to cut down on the heat, because I mean, I'm sitting here and I can feel the wind blowing through the windows. It's freezing. So I want to get that done. So even though I spent quite a bit at Home Depot, that was needed stuff. Amazon, I mean, it wasn't $150 for the Mylar bags. I spent some money on things that I wanted but didn't need. And I don't need the Mylar bags, but it would be nice if, you know, grocery stores take a hit from food chain issues and all sorts of stuff that could be going on in the world right now. It'd be nice to have extras just in case. Like getting flour. Simply getting flour and taking it out of the paper bag that they come in, putting it in a Mylar bag with oxygen absorbers, and then sealing it will make it last for years. Years. So if, you know, something happens, you got flour to make bread if you want to. Grab some instant yeast and take them out of the packets, the instant yeast, take it out of the packets, put it in the Mylar bag, seal it shut, and now you have a way to make bread. Voila. And you don't need to do anything special to make sourdough bread. All you do is leave it out until it gets sour and then watch it bubble and toil and trouble and all sorts of stuff. So just some ideas. One of my YouTubers that left a comment, I feel so bad. I did respond to her, but I don't think she saw it. She had asked what preparedness videos I watch. And for the life of me, I thought she was speaking to my budget preparedness videos. And I responded with who I watch as budgeters. But preparedness videos, I heavily watch Canadian Prepper, DIY Prepper, City Prepping, Mama Bear Prepping, Appalachia with, is it Petra? I love watching preparedness videos, like Corporal's Corner, Ranger Field something. His name is long, so I TA Outdoors. Love watching their videos. I love watching their bushcraft videos. That to me is really interesting. I mean, I obviously don't think I would survive if it really came down to it. I would do my best, but I have the knowledge to survive. I do not hone the skill to survive. And without skill, your knowledge is useless when it comes to survival. Same goes with budgeting. You can have the knowledge to budget, but until you practice and practice, you're not going to get better at it. So I am working on my financial skills. So I have learned that I cannot leave money in my bank account. I'm going to have to start taking it completely out, all of it. Every time I get paid, like maybe leave a small buffer in there. I can deal with like $50. I can leave $50 in there and not touch it. But if it's like 100, 200, 300, 400, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's okay to touch it, and I can't do that, which is why I haven't put any of my savings in my bank account. And also for other reasons. Some people might be uncomfortable having money in their houses or apartments. And up to a certain amount, I can see that. But if something were to happen and we don't have access to our bank accounts, which has happened with like Citibank and stuff like that, where they put a hold on your bank account, you can't touch your money. You can't use it. I don't want that to happen and us not have any money. So I am okay with having money in my house. Large amounts, maybe up to like $3,000. I don't think I'd leave more than $3,000 in my house, as long as people don't know that it's here. Hence the anonymous videos, and hopefully, you know, it's pretty well disguisable. Like, unless you know what you're looking for, you're not going to know that there's money in here, right? At least I would expect that. So, talk about winterizing, overspending. I did want to talk about some things that are going to be coming up. There are ways to save money when it comes to life experiences. I am not going to tell you to go steal things. My way of saving for Halloween is my sister lives out in the country and she has pumpkins out there. Somebody else farms them, but they kind of leave them there. Once they pick what they want, they leave the rest. And I went out and I grabbed some pumpkins for us to carve. I do this every year. There's thousands there. They leave them sit. They're not perfect pumpkins, so what they do is they leave them sit either to rot or then they come back and they run them over and they like basically reseed them for the next year by running them over. So I go out and I grab them at the end of October, it's towards the end of October. I went and grabbed some and we'll carve those. That's a way for me to save money. Obviously, I don't agree on stealing, but I'm also the type of person that if they're going to rot and waste, I'm going to go grab them. If it's something easy for us to do, I'm going to go do that. That's something that if you live near pumpkin, somebody who grows pumpkins, go ask them if you can grab pumpkins for cheaper than what they're going to sell them at a stand somewhere. You never know. Another thing, they want to go to a local amusement park because they do this Halloween thing in our area, and I want to take them to that. But I'm kind of debating on having them wear their costumes because they're less likely to ride rides in their costumes, and they might not be allowed to ride rides in their costumes. So that might be a way to try and save money. Oh, you can't ride rides right now, sweetie. You're wearing a costume. So that's a way to save money if you're trying to. Parades. If you can't afford a costume, your local parades. Take your kids. It's free and they get free candy, and it's a great way to keep them entertained and a way to save money. I feel like experiences are just as important as budgeting. You can budget for experiences, you can find cheap ways for experiences, or sometimes it's worth it to overspend just for an experience, like my son's haircut. I thought it was a fantastic experience. He did not. He absolutely hated it. He never wants to go back again. He has a very sensitive scalp, so he was not a fan. He wants mama to cut his hair from now on. These are just some things I wanted to bring up. Like, sometimes it's important to go have those experiences, even if you can't find a cheap way to do them. Now, obviously, don't do, something super big every single week or every single weekend. Maybe limit it to once a month. Let your kids know that, hey, even though, we're struggling right now, let's go do something fun and take our mind off of things. That was one thing that I was listening to a budgeter talk about, was life experiences matter too. And then last but not least, YouTube goals. At some point, even though I'm making okay money with this income one here, it's starting to go down. You're like, going down, that's $1,000. Every other week, and not even every other week, every time now that every 2 weeks that I send in my stuff for work, it's starting to get less and less and less. And it's getting very hard for me to be positive about doing it because it's so much hard work and I get very little sleep for it. And it'd be nice to start focusing on my health again. So I'm really hoping that YouTube will come through and I can add YouTube as an income and we can watch that go towards my debt. Fund my sinking funds and mainly debt, pay off debt. That was my ultimate goal with YouTube income, is go towards debt. So hopefully we can make that happen. I know that I am like 3 hours away from reaching my very first YouTube goal. And to me, that's so exciting. It's not anything super fancy. It's just people can do super likes, or there are like 2 other things. It's YouTube's new like goals things where you can get super likes, and you have to reach like 500 subscribers with 3,000 watch hours, and then your next goal is 1,000 subscribers with 4,000 watch hours. So I'm excited. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm so glad that you guys are on this journey with me. I love your comments. I reply to everybody as best that I can. If you're a Debbie Downer, I'm still going to reply to you out of love and kindness, because we are all going through something. I may not be considered low income with both of these incomes, but I promise you, I know that the struggle is beyond real right now. We are in a silent depression. I don't care what anybody says. We are in a silent depression, and more Americans are becoming homeless, starving, and burnt out from just trying to survive. So even if you're being a Debbie Downer, please don't be afraid to comment. If you're looking for support, let me know. I appreciate your guys' support for my channel so much, and I'm happy to offer support in return because I know how important it is. So next paycheck will be the end of October to the beginning of November. So I'm going to be paying for November's rent, my first tuition payment, my car payment for the end of October, Paramount Plus. I actually think YouTube already came out, but I'm adding it for this one. And some people were wondering about my debt snowball method. So now that my credit card is paid off, woo, credit card's paid off, I don't have to have that in my bills anymore. So the debt snowball method that Dave Ramsey talks about is taking whatever payment you had on something else, the minimum payment for that, and you add it into your debt payoff. So my Capital One, this is my minimum payment. And then if you add the $40 for my credit card minimum payment, that would be $98, about $100. My goal is to make more than that. So if I can't do $200 because of something in my sinking funds or something over here, I'm going to adjust it so I can make that $200 payment. Debt is really important to me. And Christmas and my car are really important to me. Those are the 3 majors that are really important to me right now. So I hope you guys stick around and hang out with me and chit chat with me, and we go through this together. And if I get off topic, I apologize. I have undiagnosed adult ADHD, so I kind of zigzag all over the place. Pew, pew, pew. Like talking about food stamps, and then going to car loan issues, and then life experiences matter issues, and winterizing my house issues. So I will bounce around. I apologize if that's not your thing, but I hope it is, and I hope you stick around and support my channel because I appreciate you guys. I love watching these videos, and I hope you love watching them too. All right, well, I will see you on Friday or Saturday. This is my next budget. I'm already calculating for that. On Saturday, it'll probably be Saturday because that's when I get my second income. What I usually do is on Friday, I start paying like rent. I'll pay off rent first. And then Saturday, I pull money out to take care of everything else. So I will see you Saturday, and I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week.